friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kalia and today we're going to be talking about my gallbladder surgery experience. So let's get into it. So starting in the month of July, I started getting a real bad pain in my left side. And it was like every time I took a deep breath in, this pain shot through my side. And I sometimes have these kinds of pains, but it was like every single time I took a breath in, I literally would just get this shooting pain. And it would also be to where I would lay down and I would feel this pain as well. And so there was no side where I could lay on that I actually could get relief. There was a point where I wouldn't eat. I literally stopped eating for a while. And I hardly drank any water or anything. I had to kind of force myself to drink water or Gatorade or whatever, but I wasn't really eating. I didn't really have much of an appetite, and I also didn't really, I didn't feel hungry. And so I noticed that that was a sign as well. And then I started getting pain up in my shoulder. And so I was just crying and crying and crying. Logan could tell you, I was crying most times in his arms and just was in a whole lot of pain. So I decided to go to urgent care. And so I went to the urgent care and they made me take a pregnancy test. And because I also had pain in like my back area as well too. They made me take a pregnancy test and it was negative. And then they told me that I had a UTI. And so they had put me on medication for UTI. So I started taking that antibiotic and nothing was working still. I still was just dealing with really bad pains and just still crying, still not eating, still not drinking, any of that stuff. And so finally I decided to go to the ER because it was pretty bad. And so I went to the ER and they did an IV on me and did another pregnancy test. It was negative. And they ran a bunch of tests, like they did blood work, and then I got a CT scan, and that's when they found out I had a gallstone. And so they were like, well, you need to call this surgeon and to see if you can get an ultrasound to see like how big the gallstone is and if there's multiple and stuff like that. And so with your gallstones, that means it's your gallbladder. So I thought, oh great, like now I'm gonna have to get gallbladder surgery, because I mean we were getting close to time of me going back to school. And so I had called this doctor and had an appointment set up. And so I went to the doctor and he looked at my charts and everything, and he's like, well, I don't really think it's your gallbladder because everything's happening on your left side. Normally when it's your gallbladder, everything happens on your right side. And so he's like, well, I'm going to refer you to get an EDG done, or EDG something. It's basically to check and see if you have ulcers. So I went and had that procedure done. I had to get another pregnancy test done. And they had to put me to sleep and shove this camera down my throat to look inside of my stomach to see if I had any ulcers. Well, I literally, my heart rate skyrocketed when I was asleep getting that procedure done. And it took them a while to get me to go to sleep. Like they had to use more anesthesia medicine on me. But I got those results back and I didn't have any ulcers. I just had a little bit of gastritis, which she said that everyone typically has a little bit of gastritis, but the doctor had put me on Protonix, which is like heartburn medicine, and told me that if I didn't feel better to call him again. So I still didn't feel better, and so I called him and he's like, well, it's definitely your gallbladder then, because the pain was getting worse in my shoulder and I still had that side pain and everything. And so I was told I was going to have to get surgery. And so I've only gotten one procedure done for surgery, and that was my wisdom teeth. And then I've had like my tonsils removed and I've had tubes put in my ears, but like this was a major surgery. And my parents, my mom could come, but my dad couldn't come, and then Logan had to take off work so that he could take care of me as well. But, so we get to the hospital, and I had to take another pregnancy test. Guys, I've had to take so many pregnancy tests, it's not even funny. And so, I got all in my gown and everything, and I'm waiting around, and they're telling me about the procedure and everything. Well, I get to, the waiting, or like, into the surgery room, and I put myself on the, well, first, they were trying to find an IV for me, and she poked me, and I literally started bleeding just everywhere. She was like, whoa, you're a bleeder. You just started bleeding everywhere. I had blood on the bed. I had blood on the floor. This pregnant nurse had to literally bend down and clean up blood off the floor because of me. But anyways, so yeah, I'm on the operating table, and they put this huge mask over my face for the oxygen and then the anesthesia. And mind you guys, I do not do well with anesthesia, and you'll find out later on of why. But I felt like I was suffocating. I literally felt like I was suffocating. And they had to take it off at one point because I started breathing all heavy. And I was like, I can't breathe. And I'm so thankful to the nurse that was sitting beside me, or standing beside me, who was kind of like taking care of me. Because she said, it's okay, just take deep breaths, you're okay, you're in good hands, you're being taken care of. And then they eventually put the mask back on me, and I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and I was in the recovery room. So when I had woken up, it took me a long time to wake up. I remember kind of waking up and then falling back asleep, and I remember at one point I woke up and called for Logan, and they said that he couldn't come back yet until I was like more cognitively awake. But my eyes were twitching. Like, the doctor had said that my eyes were just like flickering back and forth, and I literally just could not focus on anyone. They eventually had Logan come back because I mean, my mom was there, but I really just wanted Logan. So he came back, and I still was just not awake and alert, and I fell back asleep, and then I hit my hour mark, supposedly. So they sent Logan out because they were trying to get me to get up and walk to the bathroom, because I hadn't, like, they had all these fluids running through me. And they're like, well, I'm sure she has to use the bathroom, and so we need to make sure she can get up and walk so she doesn't get blood clots and stuff like that. Well, I was literally so dizzy. I could not lift my head up, and I just felt awful. Like, I felt like I was going to puke, because I just do not do well with anesthesia. I get super nauseous, and I was super dizzy, and I was trying to tell the nurse that. Well, she's like, you still need to get up, sweetie. Like, she has all these men come in. She had, like, 2 men come in as well as her. And she was like, well, they'll be more, like, likely to help you if you fall compared to me. So they stood me up, and I literally could not walk. And she's like, use your words, because I literally was just making noises, but I couldn't walk because I felt so dizzy. Like, I felt like I was going to fall. And she's lucky I didn't fall. So I literally made it to like the curtain area, and I said that I couldn't do it. So they laid me back down, and I fell back asleep again. And then finally I woke up, and I felt way more alert and could actually walk. So Logan was back there again, and so he helped me get up with the nurse and get up and use the bathroom. And so I went to the bathroom, and then I ended up getting my clothes back on, and I got to leave. Well, I had vomited like 3-4 times, and so I got in my mom's rental car, and Logan drove us home. Well, I felt sick again, and I was getting out of the car, and I puked again, and I just remember just walking like so slow, and I was moaning and I was groaning. And there were 2 people standing outside of Logan's apartment, and they were like, does she need a chair? Like, what happened? Like, all this stuff. And Logan's like, well, she just had surgery. And so I actually made it up the stairs, and I laid in bed and was out the rest of the night. I mean, I was in and out of sleep all day. I had woke up at one point and ate Jello and stuff and could hold it down, and I ate Gatorade and ate Gatorade. I drank Gatorade and could hold that down. I can't speak today, guys. And then I had a mac and cheese at one point, and that was fine. Which I know, like, I have a hard time with the doctors and the nurses that did my surgery, because they really did not tell me anything besides don't lift a certain amount of pounds. But they didn't really tell me what to eat or drink. They didn't really tell me what the recovery process would be like or anything like that. For someone who just had surgery for the first time, but that's besides the point. And so Logan actually laid next to me the whole night, which was super nice. And let me tell you guys, he literally was the best boyfriend ever. Like, he became such the biggest sweet caretaker I've ever, like, had before. Like, he made sure I was taken care of. I took my medicine when I was supposed to, my Tylenol when I was supposed to. He got up and got me drinks and whatever food I wanted, which I literally just ate mostly Jello, applesauce, mac and cheese, and mashed potatoes. I ate some crackers and stuff too, but mainly for the first days it was just really applesauce and Jello. But he helped me up, like when I couldn't get out of the bed very well, he stood me up and helped me to the bathroom and sat me down on the bathroom and helped me get back up and pulled up my pants for me because I couldn't bend down. And just, he was the sweetest person taking care of me, and I'm so thankful that I had him when I did, and that I wasn't by myself in Vincennes dealing with all these medical issues. And I'm also really thankful to my mom and my sister for coming down and taking care of me as well, because my mom went and got my medicine and got me some ice and was there with the surgery process. Also, our pastor, Pastor Carol, was there the entire time. I thought she was just going to be there just to pray with us and then she was going to leave. No, she stayed the whole time, which I was very thankful for as well, and like talked to my family and stuff like that. And then I'm thankful to Logan's grandparents as well, because they took me to my appointments and things like that. So I'm very thankful to everyone who helped me during my surgery, and also to the people who prayed for me and stuff like that, because I was a pretty decent surgery. But I recovered really well, which was nice, which I wish that I didn't go back to school right away, because I literally had only been a week in recovery and I had to go back to school. And I think my body was just, like, I had overdid it. But this is going to be a nasty part, so a little disclaimer: if you don't want to hear, like, certain medical issue stuff, then I would skip this part. But I had to get my staples taken out because the doctor decided to use staples. And so I went to my doctor to get them taken out. Well, I have 3 incisions up on my stomach, which I'll show you guys at one point at the end of this video. I got the 3 up above my stomach taken out, and those were fine. But then the ones in my belly button, there were literally like 9-10 staples up in my belly button. And some of them had gotten stuck in there because they were cockeyed and like bent in the middle, and I ended up ripping back open. I was not healing properly near my belly button, and I ended up ripping back open, and it's been a process. I literally have had to keep gauze over my belly button so that it could heal, and finally it has closed up. There's still like a little part that's open, but I have mostly closed up, which is very nice. And but overall, my experience with my gallbladder surgery is that I will not be going to this doctor again for the surgery, because he had horrible bedside manner, and I think he rushed the surgery because There was just complications that went wrong, and but yeah, I am thankful that I am finally healed from it and that I do not feel that pain anymore that I was feeling. I actually ended up having more medical issues after being ripped back open. I had problems with my back, and I think it was because I was laying on my back because I couldn't lay on my side or my stomach after my surgery. And then I ended up having a double pneumonia. Had to take another pregnancy test for the back issues and the pneumonia too. So that's been crazy. But yeah, and also I have gotten the reversal effects of everything. Normally people say that there's a lot of things that they can't eat. Well, I actually have been able to eat all of my normal stuff. I do notice that I have bowel issues sometimes. That's disgusting. I'm sorry. But also I've already had those kind of issues because I'm lactose intolerant and just a lot of things affect my stomach. But I'm just glad that it's finally out and that I don't have those issues anymore. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video of me talking about my gallbladder surgery and that experience. And yeah, and I hope that you guys turn in for the next one. Bye guys.